secret institutions. Bedroom eyes, they call them in a bygone day. They're the eyes of a man whose lust knows no bounds.
Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to Horny Creek. My name is Mark. With me as always is Carol. How you doing today, Carol?
Hey, what's up?
It is January 13th, 1999.
Happy New Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year. This is the first episode. If you don't listen to the other shows, this is the first episode back.
You know what I can't believe?
It's not butter.
That too. No, this is just the horniest episode of Dawson's Creek we've ever seen.
100%.
It definitely wins.
This is, I mean, the only thing that holds it back from peak horniness, like as horny as that show could ever get, is that the mom and dad are not in the show. Are not in this episode.
There you go.
But holy shit. It's all about the SEX, everyone. And I'm not talking about the Southeastern Express.
So who do you want to start with?
Oh, who do you want to start with? A little sexiness. We're picking up a third, Carol. Who do you want to start with? Dawson, Pacey, Joey,
Goodness.
Jen. Not Andy.
What is happening?
I don't know.
You're like off the rails.
The way that you said, who do you want to start with, was interesting to me.
Yeah, I guess that's
Sorry.
not normally a question that I have for Dawson's Creek, but we have three very distinct storylines this time.
We do.
So.
We do.
I kind of want to start with Pacey and Andy.
Let's start with Pacey and Anthony.
So, this is insane. Okay, she is at the drugstore getting her psych meds.
Yes. Yes.
And Pacey just walks up behind her like, oh, hey, what's in the bag? Takes her medication bag away and pulls the pills out.
Yeah, like, who does that?
That is so rude. Like, I get that you're boyfriend and girlfriend, but, like, boundaries.
Yeah, for sure. It's really weird. It's that classic situation of, like, like, you know, someone steals the girl's hat or something like that. And, like, but usually it's the chivalrous guy that grabs it back from the bullies,
right,
and gives it to the girl. But instead, he's playing the role of, like, I know he's trying to be playful or whatever, but, like, who's playful with pills?
And I mean, it would have been
I guess Marilyn Monroe, but.
Right. It would have been all right, I guess, if he'd just taken the bag and teased her with it to keep it away, but to open it and look?
Yeah, to go in there, and he's like...
Xanax? What's Xanax?
Yeah,
Xanax? Isn't that like for depression or something?
Yeah, he goes, isn't that for severe... Like, all of a sudden, he's trying to be like a drug commercial or something. He's like, Xanax, isn't that for severe depression and anxiety?
Which, no, it's not an antidepressant. Like, I'm really disappointed in the writers right now. They did no research.
Mm-hmm. Carol, this is Carol's expertise, so...
So, I mean, Xanax is a sedative for, like, panic attacks, anxiety.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with bipolar disorder, which you would use a mood stabilizer like lithium or an antidepressant. But,
right.
Yeah.
And it has nothing to do with depression either, right?
No, it's just a sedative for anxiety.
Yes.
So, yeah, that doesn't make any sense. And then she lied to him and said that it was for her mom and said they had the same name. I wonder if they even do.
I don't know.
She's like, my mom and I have the same first name. Like, seems suspicious.
I mean, my grandmother and my mom had the same first name. But
oh, really?
Still, they did, yeah. Rita.
You know, boys do that, but girls don't usually do that.
Yeah, it's rarer, but yes. But my mom went by her middle name.
Yeah. Kay.
Yes.
Yeah. I was weirded out when I realized that was not her first name.
Really? You were weirded out by that?
Well, just because I really thought her name was Kay, and then I found out it was like a whole other thing, and I was like, what?
It was Rita.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he outs her pills. She lies. And then she points out, oh, you're standing in front of the Durex condoms.
Which,
you're standing in front of the sheepskin for her pleasure, ribbed and suctioned for her pleasure condoms.
It's so weird, though, because, like, she's acting like, oh, that's where I found you, but, like, they were just walking.
Yeah, it is weird.
Was she pretending that he was staring at them? I don't get it.
He went along with it. If he wasn't actually looking at them,
Yeah.
he went along with it. He was like, oh, you know,
Yeah, just looking.
Always be prepared. It's Boy Scout. And so that leads to a discussion of when are we going to fuck?
Yeah. She's like, well, you know, it wouldn't hurt to be prepared just in case. And so then he's all like, I mean, his eyes light up like, oh, really?
Yeah, it's like one of those cats. Those eyes turns into slot machines or something like that.
Right? Like, there's a chance we could use one of these, really? Has he had sex with anybody besides Ms. Jacobs? I'm trying to remember.
Anyone his own age?
Right.
No, I'm pretty sure just Tamara.
I feel kind of bad for her because, like, she's not gonna... It's gonna be her first time. I mean, she's, like, half as attractive anyway, and then...
Right. To have the experience... Like, she does not have the experience that a full-grown woman raping a 16-year-old child would.
That's just an awful sentence. But, yeah, she lacks experience that he has, which she's mentioned before was, like, uncomfortable for her, so...
Yeah. But, you know, it's not like he has a ton of experience.
True. I mean, he doesn't, but his partner did, so I'm just saying it will be weird for him.
Well, yeah. She's not going to know the tricks that Miss Jacobs knew.
I mean, he might find out he lasts a lot longer, you know? That could be a bonus.
There you go.
But yeah, so she's, like, pie-eyed little girl, like, listening to her talk about, she's like, oh, I have all these fantasies about it. And it's not, like, sexy fantasies. No. It's, like, tea and crumpets fantasies.
Exactly. That's a really good way to put it.
It just irritated me. She's like, I want to have...
This is like how you would imagine that Queen Elizabeth II, like, fantasized about having sex for the first time.
It's like, we should have a romantic dinner at a French bistro. You're 16.
Right.
A romantic dinner is Denny's, okay? What is wrong with you?
Seriously. Load up on a lot of really heavy creamed and buttered dishes, by the way.
Yeah, that's not smart. Anytime I ever see anybody, like, specifically eat French food on TV, they get sick.
Yes.
It seems like a thing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the French, I guess, don't, but...
Well,
maybe the French are just sick all the time. Suck at blue!
And then we'll go for a walk on the pier, and it'll be
there you go. They can vomit off the pier.
There you go. It'll be so romantic, and then we'll go to a bed and breakfast. Again, you're 16.
It's weird. I pointed out with one of the other storylines when we were watching this episode, but I think it's applicable to here, too. They talk and act and definitely look like college students, not high school students.
Yeah.
They should just be in college.
I'll give it a few years, right?
I guess, but I mean, like, it makes more sense. And the idea of, like, well, let's go to a French restaurant, take a walk on the pier, go to a bed and breakfast, makes more sense for, like, a 19 or 20-year-old to say. Like, even then, you would be like, oh, that's kind of like an
old
mature,
lady?
Like, fantasy or whatever. But you could see that more in that, like, age group.
But yeah, no teenagers want to go to a fucking bed and breakfast. And
I don't even know where to find a bed and breakfast. I mean, we don't live in fucking
Capeside,
vacation land, Massachusetts or Maine or whatever. But
yeah, they're in a tourist town, so
yeah.
But he decides to give her fantasy.
Now he doesn't say that. He's just like, "Hey, let's go on a date."
Yeah,
and then he takes her to this French restaurant.
Wouldn't you think she'd know what's up the minute they sat down in a French restaurant?
You would think so.
I would be suspicious that sex is on the agenda.
Seriously. Sex is on the menu.
But yeah, so he buys her a fancy-ass French restaurant dinner, which, like, he works in a video store. Like, he doesn't have money for that shit.
This guy's embezzling. Like, I think the video store is a front for drugs.
Right?
There was one video store by the house I lived in before we met, that closed down. Like, and I thought to myself, after it closed down, I was like, was this just like a front for drug running or something like that? It was owned by some Middle Eastern gentleman. don't read anything into that, anyone. It's just I'm giving you flavor to the story.
Sure.
But it wasn't Blockbuster, it wasn't Hollywood Video, it wasn't a chain. It was just some family-owned one, right?
Oh, weird.
And so it was a cool place. It was by my house. I used to go there quite often to rent stuff. They had a lot of cool things in there. They had a lot of new releases. It was just like any other video store.
Okay.
And then I had like 4 videos out. And one day I went to go back. I had been there 2 days prior.
Okay.
Renting these movies. I went to go back and they were gone. Everything was taken out of the store. It was empty. The sign was taken down.
Oh, wow.
And they were just gone. And then eventually there was like a notice, like some kind of, whatever, like eviction or something like that. Like, I don't know, like some kind of notice up on the thing. And they never came back. And I was like, I guess I just own these movies now.
No, that's fucked up.
I almost dropped them in the Dropbox. And I was like, nah, I'm keeping them.
Yeah, why not? When video stores go out of business...
Yeah, it happens sometimes.
Their computer system just wipes everything out. Like, at a Blockbuster... Oh, I didn't even know that. Yeah, at a Blockbuster, if you owe them movies and, like, that franchise shuts down, you just keep those movies. Like, you'd think you should return them to another Blockbuster, and probably morally you should. But my friend works at Blockbuster.
Oh.
And, you don't have to do that. You can just keep them.
Gotcha. Interesting.
I saw a Blockbuster going out of business. I rented 20 movies. And they were right. Like, I was a little scared, but no, like, I just went to another Blockbuster. There's nothing on my account.
Wow.
Yeah. It's awesome. I was very happy.
I love it. I love that for you.
Thank you.
But yeah, so he takes her there. Then we don't see the walk on the pier.
We don't see the restaurant either. This is all talked about. What we see is...
I thought we saw them sitting at the restaurant.
No, I don't think so.
I feel like we did.
We see them walk into the bed and breakfast.
Where she's blindfolded.
She has been blindfolded for the whole walk down the pier, by the way.
Yeah,
like, that kind of defeats the purpose, basically. Yeah,
he's like, well, we had a nice French restaurant, and then we took a walk on the pier. She was, like, blindfolded. And he goes, and she's like, if this is a bed and breakfast, I'm going to kill you.
Which seems like not the appropriate reaction, nor the reaction he deserves.
And he was like, well, dispose of my remains now, or whatever. And he takes the blindfold off, and she's like, oh, my God. And then he's like...
And there's candles.
Yeah.
It's, like, all romantic set up in there, too. It's not even like, oh, okay, it's a bed and breakfast. He, like, went all the fuck out.
And then he's like, look... We don't have to have sex. I that's not the goal of tonight. We've got plenty of time.
And I called bullshit.
He's like, I just wanted to give you your fantasy. But the end of her fantasy was getting fucking laid.
Right.
So, like...
Yeah.
I mean, you kind of... You're pushing in that direction.
Exactly. But she gets all freaked out. And she's like, I'm so scared. I can't do it. I'm so scared. And, like, yeah, it's scary the first time. Sure.
Yeah.
But she seems a little extra overscared. Like, I'm not sure.
Yeah, there's some stuff going on here.
Yeah. But he's very sweet and very understanding and comforting. And he's just, like, talking about how she makes him want to be, like, a better man. And all he wants to do is hold her. And, like,
he's like, he's like, look, I'm with you not because I want to have sex with you. I'm with you because you take this fucking beaten down, loser, grizzled 16-year-old kid and makes him feel like I can make something out of my life. Like, it's not too late. And he's like, and I just want to hold you. He's like, that, I don't need to have sex with you to feel that way. I feel that way right now. I love you. And she's like, oh my God, you're making me wet, or whatever she says.
She says you're making me want to. She is not that crude.
It's the same thing.
So then they start making out like it's going to happen.
Hardcore.
And he decides not to.
Yeah, he's like, I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I'm not hard. No, he says, he goes, I don't want to do this because he's like, I don't want to rush into this. Like, I feel you're not 100% ready. And which, by the way, I think leads credence to your bullshit thing. Because it's like, he kind of knew he was steering her this way, even though she wasn't 100% ready. Yeah. But he stops himself at the last second. He's like, I don't want to be the... He talks about himself in the third person, like, a lot. Yeah. And uses his full name when he does, which is so weird. I don't want to be the typical Pacey Witter that's that would, think and or not think and just do and like just have sex and we'll figure it out tomorrow or whatever. He's like, I want to do the un-Pacey Witter thing. I want to be contemplative. It's like, who the fuck talks about themselves like this?
Well, nobody in this show talks like people talk.
Well,
the
yes.
Dialogue in this show, and they even mention it.
They lampshade it. Yeah. It's highly stylized. Yeah. I don't mind it.
No, I love it.
It's like a Quentin Tarantino movie or a Kevin Smith movie or a David Mamet play where it's not how people talk, but it has its own style and life and pattern. Charm. And it's consistent throughout the show, and that it's acceptable. Like people like in Pulp Fiction, people don't talk like that. Mm-hmm. I mean, gangsters certainly don't talk about that, but nobody talks like that. That's not realistic dialogue, but it's appropriate for the situation, and it's interesting. It's punchy, and it's artificial in a pleasing way. Yeah, and it adds to the. It also fits with the overall tone and kind of like the aesthetic of the world that it's set in, and this does the same thing. So they you can tell they're a lot emotionally closer at the end of this. Yeah, and they cuddle and stuff like that, but then they leave. They leave and they hold hands. Yeah. That's very cute. It is sweet. It's a sweet ending. Yeah. Like, they're the ones that seemed like the most likely. Well, they're the ones that are on the most solid ground, I would say. So, the other two storylines are Dawson and Joey, but separately. Oh, okay. I was going to say, we're tackling these together now for some reason? No. I'm thinking Joey next. Okay. We'll save Dawson for last. All right. So, Joey is in some art... The world certainly saves Dawson for last. So. Right. Joey's in some sort of art class. Yeah, this is where I pointed out, like, this sounds like they're in college. Because she's, like, talking about, like, art classes she's taking and stuff, and it's like, you're in high school. Yeah. Like, you're like, she even says it like, oh, every art course I take, it's like a new adventure or something like that. And it's like, how many art classes does your fucking school support? Well, she's not taking them at the high school. There's no way. I mean, like, they have a nude model. That's not a high school class. That's true. I think she signed up for classes at, like, the community center, art centers, like, maybe even the community college. Yeah, like, you're right. You're right. Yeah. But yeah, they definitely don't have nude models in art class in high school. That would be funny. But she has sketched a nude man. Yeah, a nude man. And Dawson looks over her shoulder and sees, and he's like, oh my goodness, what are you doing? Little Joey Potter. Yeah, all teasy. And he's like, I can't believe you could do that. You didn't even blush. And she's like, I broke 10 pencils. Right. I don't know. Like, I can't draw anyway. I would never even attempt to, like, draw a model of any kind. I got an unsatisfactory in art in elementary school. Wow. And I tried. Aw, poor baby. I'm just very bad at art. Well, yeah, I'm okay with, like, crafts, but not art. I'm good at other artistic endeavors. Yeah, you can write. Yeah. But not drawing. Yeah, so it's like hard for me to imagine doing it at all, let alone it being a nude man. No, I couldn't draw a veiny cock. Could you draw a smooth one? Oh my goodness. I feel like that would be easier, but it'd be less gross. So then Jack comes up behind her, and he's also commenting on her art. But she tried to hide it from him, and he, like, again, what is it with all these aggressive, forceful men? I don't know.
Because, yeah, he, like, rips her stuff away and looks at it.
By the way, it didn't look great. He compliments it. We get, like, one brief look at it, and it's like, I don't know, it looks Vitruvian Man-esque, but, like, it's all blocky and shit, and, like, I don't know. I mean, if you're going minimalist, maybe, but...
I must have blinked.
I'm not an art critic, so... Yeah, it was on screen very fast. But he's like, oh, I love your use of shadow, and, like, oh, it's very dramatic.
Shading, yeah.
I don't know how to judge pictures, so... I know how to judge the pictures, the movies that we watch, but not paintings.
But then he completely screws her over because he spills water on it.
Yeah, like a piece of shit. I think he did this on purpose.
Maybe. It didn't occur to me that he did, but maybe. Because then now, all of a sudden, Jack's like, well, you know, I've ruined this for you. Mm-hmm. Let me
show you my dick.
You can draw me.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, absolutely not. Oh, my God, no. And he's like, well, what's going to happen if you can't turn your thing? She's like, I'll fail.
I'll blow my brains out.
So he convinces her to allow him to come to her house and get naked so she can sketch him.
Don't know where her sister is.
Right?
Or her boyfriend, but like...
I mean, they're probably working, but then where's the screaming baby? Like, this, yeah. Her having the house to herself all quiet does not make sense.
Well, they introduce or just disappear the secondary people in her life whenever they want. Actually, in all their lives. When was the last time we saw Graham?
Yeah.
Is she just dead?
She's barely been in the season at all.
After her husband died, did she just walk into the ocean? Like, what the fuck?
Oh, my God. No, she saved Jen from getting raped that one time.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's the last time we saw her.
They're there when we need them, and other than that, they're just gone. Whether it's the parents, Graham's, her sister.
Joey's sister. Yeah, they all have weird families.
Yeah, they do. No one's in a traditional family situation.
I mean, Dawson was at first, kind of.
I guess that's America for you, though, isn't it? Yeah. Oh, got him. Got America.
Who you getting there? Okay.
I got all of us.
Good job. Okay, so...
Sorry to get socio-economical, everybody.
This whole thing's just so fucked up, though. Jack's like, I'm going to keep...
The towel
on until you get there.
Mm-hmm. Until you're primed enough.
And then she's like, you know what? I can't do this. She starts freaking out.
Well, he keeps talking. Mm-hmm. It's very much like someone talking during sex.
Yeah.
It's like, just shut the fuck up.
Well, she said, the other model just stared out the window. Yeah. Like, took the occasional break.
Yeah, exactly.
So when she's like, you know what?
Oiled his cock up.
What?
Oiled his cock up.
Oh my God. But when she's like, you know what, I can't do this, she stands up and knocks her canvas over.
I think she did this on purpose.
I do not think so. And then he pops up to grab it for her, and the towel falls.
He pops up, all right.
Yeah. So she sees it anyway.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, may as well stay now.
And then when he poses, I guess because it's TV or whatever, his leg is like over. It's like when Burt Reynolds posed for Playgirl or whatever. Like that. I love how fast you said, yeah, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
I do know. Yes.
But like how like his body's positioned in such a way
so
where
you can't see it.
You can't see his penis. Yeah. That's how Jack is. And then she starts drawing him.
Yeah, she just agrees to this. Mm-hmm. Okay, I said I couldn't do it, but now I'll do it because you said so.
Yeah. Because you're the man and you said so. And then they start talking about sex.
He's like, oh, no, I'm not a virgin. And then she's like, well, tell me about your first time.
Mm-hmm. She's like, how many people you been with? And he's like, he does that. It's a very funny where he does the like, oh, I'm counting one.
Right. I've had sex a total of one time.
One time with one guy.
Do you think it was a guy?
No.
He does kind of have that vibe.
Yeah, a little bit.
I mean, aside from the fact that, he's all over her. But like, I feel like off camera, perhaps that actor is gay.
Maybe. I don't know. But she says, like, describe it, but I don't want gory details. So he's like, she goes, describe it like you would describe a painting. So then he's like, all right, well, it was wet and messy. I don't know. Like a dripping painting. It was Jackson Pollock. Her face was a Jackson Pollock by the time I got
Oh, my Lord.
no.
You are disgusting. I cannot believe that I sleep with you.
No one else can either. He describes it like the emotions or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what he says, butterflies.
I don't remember either.
Fucking,
It was stupid.
Yeah, it was a bunch of flowery bullshit.
But apparently recalling it...
I hate Jack, by the way. I still hate this character.
Yeah, I don't like him either. But he pops a tent.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's uncovered, so...
Okay, so he gets an erection. And
he gets a hard-on.
Her eyes get so wide, like she's so offended by the fact that, like, what did you think was going to happen?
You haven't talked about sex, and you're like leaning over him and heaving.
He's naked. He thinks you're sexy, and you are talking about sex.
Yeah.
Duh.
He's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry.
Yeah,
it's the first time a 16-year-old boy's ever gotten an unwanted erection.
Right? And then he's all, like, embarrassed and, like, hiding it and stuff, and it's like...
Yeah.
Whatever, man.
Mm-hmm. There's a different place you could hide it.
God. But then, like, when they're done...
Yeah. Well, I mean, when they're clothed.
Right. Then it, like, all starts back up again.
Because she's like, oh, you're clothed now. It's not as intimidating. And he's like, I thought it wasn't allowed, with the painting or whatever. And she was like, yeah, but you've got clothes on. And he's like, so it's now allowed? It's so, like, this conversation is so weird.
Weird. It was pretty bad dialogue for Dawson's Creek.
And so then they start making out. Mm-hmm. Hardcore.
So...
I don't know if they have sex. We don't see if they do or not.
Yeah. Well, no, we don't. Because the whole episode ends on a to be continued.
Yeah, it's so weird because, they walk away or whatever, and it's like, to be continued, and it's like, yeah, we know. We've seen the show. You don't have to put that on an episode.
But it's like, oh, we're leaving on a cliffhanger. Do they or don't they?
I guess. But, so then we've got Dawson.
Mm-hmm. So Dawson is using the funding that he got to make the independent movie.
And Jen is his producer.
And the script is about him and Joey.
And it starts out where it's supposed to, like, we're supposed to think that Dawson wants to fuck Pacey for some reason. That's
so ridiculous. Like, it was obvious they were running lines. Nobody's going to fall for that.
They're going through dialogue, and it's like, I love you, and like, oh my God, can I give in to loving you? And like,
I've loved you for 15 years.
Yeah, it's all this bullshit and everything. And then it's like, oh, Dawson's like, you missed a line, you piece of shit. And it's like, first of all, why are you running lines? You're the director. Like, you don't need to memorize these lines. You're not going to audition. There's really no reason for you to run lines.
That's true, and Pacey's not in the play at all.
Yeah, Pacey's not going to be auditioning, and he certainly wouldn't be auditioning for the female role. So this is all specifically to fool the audience.
Huh, I never thought about that. So they were just playing a prank on us?
But what I think they should do, what I think would be a bold choice, Dawson, by the way, have it be two guys.
Yeah.
Have it be about you and Joey and the emotions of your relationship, but have it be two dudes.
Yeah, that would make a lot more sense.
You want to do the unexpected thing? You want, to make waves or to be bold and to go places where people don't, they're not going to think? That's because that's what he says about this entire script. Then make it two guys.
Yeah.
You fucking coward.
Yeah, that would have worked.
But they don't. It's a traditional boy-girl thing.
No, it's literally things him and Joey have said to each other. So, like, it's just so completely non-fiction.
It's season 1 of Dawson's Creek.
Yeah, and it's annoying because he's like, oh, it's just...
It's not about Joey.
No, like, whatever. Liar.
And, Pacey brings up the fact, like, hey, how come they don't fuck? Mm-hmm. And he's like, because that would be cliche. And we're not being cliche. And then, for some unknown reason, the weird rich guy that fucked Jen and Abby, who fucked Jen in different ways, I guess, they audition, and they're like the only good ones. We get a montage of auditions, and everyone sucks. And they're like the only good ones. But in the middle of their audition, which is this is bold as brass and something I've never seen.
Yeah.
They're giving notes on the script to the director that has their fate in their hands. And like, hey, how come we don't fuck?
Yeah, what? They should have sex.
And then later Jen's like, you know what? They should have sex.
Yeah.
And she talks about all this stuff like, hey, there are many reasons to have sex. Like, yeah, it's cliche if it's like, oh, boy loves girl, whatever, they have sex, it's an obligation. But like, she goes, the motivation for sex is what makes it interesting. Like, am I bored? Is it to get over somebody else? Is it to, like, have fun? Is it for, whatever, for lust? Like, and she comes up with like a bunch of different reasons why you could have sex. Mm. She's like, that's what's interesting, is, make it about that or whatever. And so he starts doing a rewrite. I mean, and the thing is if everybody that's read your script is telling, I know you shouldn't write for an audience. You should write for an audience. You should write in the hopes to please an audience.
Sure.
But you shouldn't dictate everything you do at the behest of like audience members.
For sure.
But if everyone that you're giving the script to read, to criticize or whatever, all their notes are the same, then that's maybe something you should probably change.
Well, yeah. So apparently, though, while he's making notes, he's getting pretty riled up there.
Fuck yeah, he's pulling a Jack.
Because all of a sudden, he crawls through Jen's bedroom window.
Yeah, does she also have a ladder to her? Does every teenager have a ladder to their window?
Maybe he carried the ladder from his house across to her house.
Actually, that makes sense.
But can you imagine how scandalized Grams would be?
Oh my god, well, she doesn't exist right now. So.
Right, exactly. It's all
There's no object permanence in Dawson's Creek. If we can't see the characters, they don't exist.
And, he wakes her up. And, what does he say to her?
He says, don't ask me the motivation for this.
Yeah.
And she goes, I'm too smart for that, or, I never would, or whatever,
Yeah, and then they start making out.
And they definitely have sex.
Why do you say that?
Because that's the implication, I would think.
I mean, I would think so, too. Like, they're making out harder, and they're actually in a bed.
Jen's been around a little bit. I mean, not to shame her or anything, but like Jen is okay with having sex,
right?
And Dawson really wants to. So
yeah.
I can't see what would stop them.
So it's possible, because it was a to be continued, that Dawson and Joey lose their virginity on the same night, but not to each other.
Yeah, and then like in the next episode, they'll climax simultaneously.
Ew!
And it'll be like a split screen thing, and they'll both look up at the sky like, Joey? Dawson?
Ew.
Like they have a psychic connection.
I don't like this idea.
It's like when Darth Vader talked to Luke in The Empire Strikes Back.
Oh my god.
He was like, Luke, what's up?
Luke, what's up?
Father, I'm on the Millennium Falcon. I didn't get you in the carbonite. But I got your buddy.
Some of the conversations that Jen and Dawson were having, though, before they had sex and stuff, were kind of confusing. And
the whole thing's confusing.
Like, she's talking about, like, maybe I should have been your leading lady, but she broke up with him.
Yeah, maybe you picked the wrong girl or whatever. He didn't pick her, though.
Yeah.
Like, he picked you.
Yeah.
He dated you. You broke up with him.
Right.
Then once he started going out with Joey, then all of a sudden you wanted him again.
Yeah.
And he picked Joey over you, I guess, at that point, but he was already dating her.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah,
and
ridiculous.
He's tried a couple times since then to come back to her.
And she's been like, I just want to be friends.
Yeah. But now she's all,
let's go skinny dipping. Oh, but don't look at my boobs.
Yeah. Like, she's very weird. A lot of mixed signals.
Yeah.
But I'm very curious to find out.
It was a good episode, for sure.
It was.
Horny all around.
Very horny.
But yeah, that's it. That's everything that happened.
It is. So you can write us at latefee1994@AOL.com.
Yes.
Check out our website at www.retrolatefee.com.
Yes.
And share the tapes with your friends.
All right, we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.